everyone, it's Ksenia. Today I have a Halloween tag for you, and the thing is that I didn't plan to do it at all, but Franny from Franny for Thoughts tagged me. At first I thought I probably won't do it because I have another idea planned, blah blah blah, and then I thought, you know what, it's my first tag, and ignoring your first tag probably won't be a very good idea, so I thought I'd do it. But yeah, I don't have anything like Halloween related over here, but you know what I found in my fridge? I found a pumpkin. It's actually very cold and heavy. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to post a link to the original video down below and to Franny's video as well. Go check her out, she's really cool if you don't know her. And let's do the tag. So the first question is trick or treat. The book you thought you would hate but ended up loving, and vice versa. The book you thought you would love but ended up hating. So the trick would be for me On the Road by Jackal. And the thing is that I really love like American dude writers from 20th century, like Salinger and Steinbeck and Kurt Vonnegut and Jack London. So yeah, I was expecting to love Kerouac as well, and you know, because it's classic and it's well loved and all of that, but I hated it. I really hated that book, and I don't usually give up on books unless there's a specific reason, but this one I gave up on it, I think maybe 1/3 through. Obviously a lot of literature is like, if you read it from the perspective of 21st century person, a lot of it is kind of sexist and racist and just kind of weird to read. It has never bothered me so much as in that book. I feel like we have to let go of that book, you know, just maybe move on and don't call it a classic anymore. I don't know, let me know what you think. I'm very interested if I'm the only person who thinks that. And the treat for me would be a book that I thought I would hate but ended up loving. I couldn't find any book that fitted because I wouldn't read a book that I would think I would hate, you know, that would be ridiculous. But there is a book that I didn't think much of, and the book is Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. And I only picked it up because of the hype, because the TV show was on the air, and I thought, okay, maybe I should read a book, and so I could add on to the conversation. And I didn't think much of it in the beginning, but then as I read it, I realized I loved it more and more and more, and I ended up recommending it to all of my friends because it turned out to be so good. I loved the descriptions, the characters, the in-depth characterization and all that stuff, and the ending was so good that I refused to watch the show because they made a second season, and I just can't handle anyone messing up that amazing ending because it's an open ending and you can interpret it the way you want, and I just don't want their interpretation to be mixed up with my interpretation, so I just thought I wouldn't watch the show and I would keep on loving the book. So, and the next question is Creatures of the Night, and this is the book, the character that you wouldn't want to meet. For that I chose Frederick from The Collector by John Fowles. I absolutely loved the book. I read it in one day, I think when I was 19 or something like that. But the main character kidnaps a girl and keeps her in his basement, so not the very best person to meet on the street, right? And it's not just that he's like an evil guy, kidnapper and stuff like that. He's very creepy in a way that he doesn't acknowledge that he's a bad person. He doesn't acknowledge that what he does is wrong, which is, I think, it makes him a very compelling villain, but not a person I would want to meet, you know? Ah, my hands are really cold because of this pumpkin. Okay, that's what you do for art. The next question is the Jackal of books, and it is the books that drains you. So I kind of liked Franny's interpretation that it is the book that drains you emotionally, and for that I picked up Grief is the Thing with Feathers by Max Porter, and this book drained me completely. It is, I mean, it's not just sad, it is, I feel like the book is pure grief, very raw and acute grief, you know, and it's so hard to read it. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, I loved it, but I was drained, yeah, that's the good word, drained by the book because of how raw all emotions feel. So I would definitely recommend it, but just, you know that this will have this effect on you. So the next question is Frankenstein of books that has different elements that work together. And at first I thought, what could I choose for that description? Like, it's a very specific description. And then I realized that there's one book that has changed my life completely, that I am completely obsessed over, even though I read it a year ago. Okay, so what is the book, you may ask? And the thing is that here it is, it stands right here. Yeah, like I said, I'm obsessed, and if you go to my YouTube channel, there's like a banner, and it's also from this book. So yeah, different elements. In here, you've got like, I hope you can see that. So there's the story, the ordinary story. Oh, my pumpkin fell. Okay, so the ordinary stories, like, the text, and then these are the margin notes of two people who are communicating through the book. And there's their story, and also there is the story of, like, you can see little footnotes here. There's the third story, and this is the story of the author and the author's translator. But also inside the book, did I say the name of the book? I'm so bad at this. Okay, so the book is called S, which is the weirdest name in the world, but it is also called Ship of Theseus, which is difficult to explain. So S is like the whole production of the book, like the margin notes and all. So yeah, J.J. Abrams is the one who did like Star Wars movies, and he had this idea in the first place, and Doug Dorst created the characters and wrote the story in itself. Their book is called S, but the book inside, the book that two characters are reading, is called Ship of Theseus, and this is by V.M. Straka, who's a fictional author, and like he has a fictional translator, and there's their story. I mean, it's a lot. I don't want to go into too much detail because, it'll take me a while. But yeah, thing that I wanted to show you, I get very excited about this book, I'm sorry. I will probably cut a lot of it. But yeah, inside we have letters, like actual letters that two characters write for each other. We have a map drawn on a napkin. How awesome is that? And we have postcards. You know what, I will just do a review of this book because I feel like that's why I started YouTube, like to talk about this book, because I feel like all of my friends are so tired of hearing about it. I get way too excited. I just love it so much. But yeah, all of these things, like things inside the book and the margin notes and the translator notes, they all work together to create a perfect story, well, in my opinion, and I love this book. And the last question that Franny has added is A Howl in the Wind. This is a recommendation for a spooky audiobook. I'll have to go with The Diviners by Libba Bray, the same book that Franny has recommended in her video as well, because I haven't been listening to that many audiobooks. I've only started it recently, and this one it fits perfectly. I mean, the book in itself is pretty cool, like the characters, the story, the atmosphere, all of that is nice. But the narration is just, it's so good. When she narrates chapters from the point of view of the killer, of the bad guy, oh, so good and so creepy. So yeah, I think that's it for today. And me and my pumpkin say thank you again to Franny for tagging me. And it's kind of late, I guess, to tag anyone, but if you're watching it and if you want to do it, go ahead. See you next time. Bye.